Good evening, and welcome back to another episode of Elephant in the Room podcast. I'm your host, Jamitra, and I'm here with your co hosts, Chris and Mark.
How's it going?
This week, talk, we want to talk about generational curses, breaking generational curses, and generational wealth. But before we get into our topic, we like to check in with everybody to see how the week went. So, why don't you guys tell us how this week has been for you? Mark, you can go first.
Well, it's been a short week because of the 4th of July, which I don't even care about, to be being honest. I'm just glad, I got Friday and Monday off, but it's been a short week. And honestly, I ain't been at work that much. I probably work a total of like 20 hours for the whole week.
Okay. So, is that like
If
your
it,
good thing? That's the good thing that happened to you this week? Is that it was short?
but that's one of the good things.
Okay.
Second good thing is, well, my daughter, she turns 14
Yay.
on the 7th. On the 7th. So
Happy birthday.
Okay.
she got a no, yeah, she got a nose pierce because I was like,
Wow.
yeah,
Ooh.
whatever. Like
Okay.
that what she want. Yeah,
How old
like
is she?
she'll be 14 on the 7th.
I know that's right. You better
So
come through
so
with
Hey.
I was like, dang, I got a grown like woman standing in my house now. That's my daughter. Like,
Yeah.
got to deal with the mood swings, the boyfriends and stuff.
a.
So I don't. I mean, the boyfriend thing. It's not a good thing. I ain't gonna lie because I told her
It's a
like
great thing.
no, because I told her like, hey, let your boyfriend know that I have a lot of guns.
I was about to say, bro, as long as you got the shotgun, we can pull a bad boys too.
Mommy, I just need a pistol, man. Like, nigga, how old you? You like you about
Uh,
21? you know.
You look about 30.
what about you, Chris? How was your week? What great thing happened?
My week was actually good. I got to do something that a lot of people in the black community don't take advantage of. So I got to go see a chiropractor.
Oh, that,
Uh, yeah, and
oh,
it was
he's up
Mm.
it
there cracking
was
bones.
oh my God, it felt amazing. Like I
Did
had,
you have your body moving like Bow Wow at the verses? Are you like,
I don't think it was that I wasn't that noble, but
no? Okay.
yeah, but just to
All right.
get like 30 plus years of just stress and tightness in my body, all the
Word.
knots worked out, like it felt so good. And I actually was able to get a
Nice.
good night's sleep last night. So that, and I got over this little small flu that I had.
Oh,
Oh.
so you brought the Rona back.
No, it wasn't even a Rona. Like they didn't even go the Rona route. They just said that I had
Oh,
like the regular flu, which is crazy because it's the middle of summer in Texas. So I don't know.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
did they even test you for the coronavirus?
No, they didn't.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
maybe you
crazy.
have the new coronavirus that we won't know about until next year.
probably.
So, well, glad to hear that you guys have had great things happen to you this
Yeah.
week and you're having a good short week. I know you both are still active duty, so just trying to wind down and take advantage of this holiday weekend, which I guess is like, I guess, one great thing about it.
Sure.
I'll reserve my opinion because this is you all, not mine.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're going to move on to some music of the week. We're gonna move on to the song of the week, and you guys can tell me what you were bumping this week, or just like where you were, what were the vibes, what's like your song of the week, or the sound that you were listening to this week.
I've been listening to Pastor Troy.
Oh,
You
Hey.
okay.
know, a lot of like old school, like Pastor Troy, Lil Jon. Like, I've been on my Atlanta shit this week.
Yeah.
Like,
Cool.
tough.
Hey, peace
You
up.
do- you know what I'm saying? Like, tough.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, top,
Yeah.
hey, top, hey, top down. Okay.
you
Oh
know.
my God.
Where's it at?
So
Top
me,
Chris.
I've actually been on my Tupac shit, man. Like like
Okay,
real,
well,
like not the 1992 socialist,
all
the
right.
Black Panther. I'm talking about
Oh,
the Death Row Tupac. Like every track
so you wonder
in it.
Suge, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right.
I dig it.
So we know you are a killer, so we won't push you. Um, all right. Well, I was listening to this week.
No, come on now. You
I
know
did
you
go
listen to
back to the
music.
Carter. I went back
I,
to the Carter,
I was about to
all
say
the
you listen
Carters,
to
and you
music
know
all
what?
the
Actually,
time.
I went back to visit Lil Wayne, and I realized that "Let Do It" is like probably one of my favorite Wayne covers ever.
Really?
Yeah, that's dope right there. Yeah, I like that one.
"Let Do
With
It" is
the Black
like
Eyed Peas?
is I don't know why, 'cause like that Waka beat just went insane. But when
Oh,
Wayne came over, it like it wasn't even Waka's song anymore. I know Wayne has like a habit of making people's songs his, like
yeah,
he does it effortlessly. But "Let Do It" is just like I don't know. It's something I love that song. It gets me in like my work, business. Like I'm gonna go get it type of mood. So yeah,
yeah.
go back and visit No Ceilings.
I
Yeah.
can't even. I can't.
All
I'm not
right.
gonna hijack your stuff, but I actually did go back to listen to No Ceilings. I was playing that junk in the truck.
See?
Uh, oh yeah,
And Swag Surf,
Yeah,
obviously, a great that one as well.
yeah.
All right. Well, now that we got the music out the way, we're going to roll into the topic of the week, which is generational curses, breaking generational curses and generational wealth. So maybe both of you, one at a time, can tell me what is one generational curse that, like, you were adamant about breaking, and then how you broke it.
that is a great question, but I won't go too much into thought about it because it's kind of pretty, simple to me. Um, One thing that I will say is like, especially in my family, like there was a habit of most of the kids, moving on when they were 18,
Mm-hmm.
getting out of the house, Like one thing, 'cause me and my daughter was just talking about this yesterday. She was like, "Hey, Dad, when I turn 21 or whatever, or 18 or 21, will you kick me out?" And I was
Mm,
like, "No. If you're in school, working or doing something, you need some time to get on your feet. I'm not just gonna put you out on your ass
Yeah.
because, like, for especially black people, doing that to their kids is setting them up for failure.
yeah,
Like, what are you doing for your kids by, telling them to get on and figure it out type thing?"
Yeah.
yeah,
Because I was out of the house
Sorry.
at 18. I was like, yeah, I gotta get the fuck out of Warner Robins, do something different. So that's why I joined the military. You know.
yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
running away from around.
The-
And I
uh,
love Robin.
no doubt, I love Warner Robins, but I just couldn't be like, I couldn't be there still. Going to school and working at Arby's. Like that wasn't gonna put no big bucks in my pocket.
It really
Yeah.
wasn't because the way y'all were not giving more than 6 mozzarella sticks, just it wasn't working
Yo,
for the
no,
kids.
she
So I'm glad you
did.
changed it.
Hey, I was a company man, so I had to go by the rules, But yeah, like I think that's one of the biggest like curses for like especially black families. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're so quick to kick their kids out at like 18 when they graduate high school. Like, hey, you're grown now. Like I get what they're saying because some kids like they don't get it. They just get too comfortable with mommy and daddy supporting them,
Yeah.
and then like they really don't strive for nothing else better in life, and that's why a lot of people who are at home with their parents, I think it's a lot of people, but some people, they're getting in trouble whatever with the law and stuff because they're not really doing anything with their lives. Cause they're like, oh yeah, mom, dad gonna take care of me. I got a house. I ain't gotta pay no bills. Like shit like that. Like making
Yeah.
kids too comfortable. But same, time, you kind of got to set your kids up for success. You can't just throw them
yeah,
out on their ass if they, have a plan. So
definitely.
that's that's what I'm doing different with my kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. I love to hear it. I feel the same way about my children. How about you, Chris?
So mine is towards how to basically discipline. Like I wasn't a fan of whoopings when I was a kid, and I understand we grew up in a different age where you got hit with everything, including the kitchen sink. So you know, we wanted to take a different approach uh, to not, whoop Landon. Now, don't get me wrong, there are times when Landon like is just out of control, but I'm just saying for like little minuscule things, we're not finna go overboard. Like I think if you talk to your children and find out exactly what is what is having them have these feelings, or why they're not paying attention, or why they're not listening. I think you get further with trying to understand them instead of just flying off the hinges, beating the mess out of your kids, and then you know they grow up resenting you because all you did their life was just whoop their ass. That was it. You never actually taught them lessons. Um, the biggest thing with me
Right.
is I love teaching my kids lessons. Simple. You put your hand on the stove. The stove is hot. Why did you put your hand on the stove? Because I was trying to figure out what that is. So now you know what it feels like, right? So don't do it again. Simple stuff like that. So I seriously feel like I think that's, just for us, that's a better way of getting to Landon instead of just, pulling out a belt and just going, from 0 to 100, and then, just sending him straight to his room. So
Right.
All right.
yeah.
All right, that's actually another great one. I also believe the same thing. I don't hit my never. I've done it one time, and that was like one too many, and it was enough, and then I never did it again. That's with my oldest daughter. So I definitely understand you about not physically reprimanding your children, but trying to do it in a way that promotes communication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? Now you're so we know like um, obviously the curses kind of are passed down genetically, and then
Hmm.
some of them are passed down behavioral wise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
What do you think that you would say to your children about breaking generational curses? Like what's something what's because you're teaching them the lessons and it's breaking the curse, but do you actually like say these are generational curses that I'm trying to break? Do they understand that this is something that's run in your family for a very long time and they're going to be like the first person to not do it, or do you just straight through lessons, like just teaching lessons?
For me, it's mostly just teaching them lessons, like because they're
Okay.
with Landon, he's too young right now to understand what everything that's going on around him right now. But in a few years, I'll be able to have those conversations with him, like you know, more um, fulfilling conversations with him. Right now, it's just, hey, don't do that, and this is the reason why you don't do that, and we gotta trial, and it's a trial and error to see if he's actually gonna do it again.
I feel it. Yeah. For me, it's a little bit of both because I try to, teach a lesson, but at the same time, I explain to them like why it's so important and crucial for certain things to be broken because it's been done like so long or whatever. Like
Hmm.
Chris said about like the whoopings or whatever. Like I whoop my kids sometimes. I don't just, but the thing about me, I don't just resort to that.
Right, right.
Like to me, the punishment should kind of like fit like the crime. Like
Uh-huh.
if my son was going around the neighborhood breaking in cars, then I'm gonna beat his ass because like I ain't finna pay for like fix other people's shit or whatever, go to court and all the other stuff. Especially with him being a young black boy. Like
Hmm.
I don't want him in the system for no bullshit like that. But
Yeah.
like especially with my daughter, like I try to tell her like when I tell someone like yo, you should do A B C. And oh, this happened in my family in the past. That's why it's so important for you not to get stuck in that cycle. Like, be different. You know, like I
Yeah.
hope some of the things that I teach them that they teach their kids as well. Not everything because I ain't the best parent. I ain't gonna lie, but hopefully most of the stuff that I teach them they pass it on to their kids as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
We know that both of you, again, as I've said before, are active duty military. And usually there's a trend in military families where if the child is in the military, it means because one of their parents were in the military. Is that the case for both of you?
Not for me. My dad wasn't in the military. For funny story, like my dad, he wanted to join the military. Like he went to basic training, all that stuff, but he had flat feet. So
Mm.
back then they wouldn't, let you in. So in a way, I feel like I'm living my dad's dream
Hmm.
because he wanted to. join the Air Force. We talked about it
In a
like,
good way, right? You feel you
yeah,
feel
yeah,
a good way that makes you proud that it was something he wanted, but you were able to fulfill. So it feels like a good thing for
yeah,
him
but
to have you,
yeah,
right?
because honestly, I didn't really think about the military until I met Chris. Cause we always talk about going in on the
Hey.
buddy system
Yep.
in the Air Force, but he want to go join the army and stuff. First, it was you was in the guard first, right? You was in the guard,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I think, yeah, you was in the guard. And you switched over to active duty. See, I remember still because I remember he was like, "Yeah, man, we could go on a buddy system." And then
Yeah.
I'm like, "What the fuck? This man just joined the guard out of nowhere. Like, really gonna leave your bro like that?" Like, I was low key salty at first. I ain't gonna lie, but
I
yeah,
remember.
like, yeah, like
Yeah.
my dad was in the military. He wanted to join the Air Force, but in a way, I'm glad that he didn't because my life would be a whole lot different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is true.
Like things happen for a reason, and like I didn't really want to join the Air Force too. Probably maybe I was like 16. It was a thought then.
Mhm.
I want to say like I was like, oh man, the
She.
military seemed like kind of dope, because seeing all the freaking
When
active
you
duty
learn
people.
ghetto and it's fun, and we enjoy it.
Man,
That.
I had some. I
Ghetto,
definitely had a ride,
most
but
ghetto job I ever had.
yeah, but I'm not gonna lie. Like the biggest thing, like at the time for me, like the biggest problem I had was leaving home. I wanted to be stationed at Robbins so bad. I was like, if I join the Air Force, will I get back to Robbins? Blah blah. My crew's like, can't promise you that, but we can try. He was honest. He was straight up.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
So
right. Well, um, for the viewers, actually, Chris and I are biological brother and sister. We have the same parents, but I just like to ask questions in a way that, because if you don't, you wouldn't know that, right? So,
Yeah.
Chris, tell about your experience in being third, second generation,
I think third. So,
third,
you
yeah,
know,
third generation.
yeah. So, growing up, like Mark said, it wasn't really like a thing that we was, trying to do. It just something that came upon us. But as far as me joining, um, like it wasn't. It was strongly advised that I joined the military because I didn't have a path. Um,
Yeah.
Graduated, and I'm like, what next? And so I wound up finding a terrible job that I didn't even work a day at. And so that's when that I didn't even tell you that, Mark. That's what happened. I wound up going active. So, but as far as going into the military, it wasn't something that I dreamed about. Um, but I think that it has done a lot for me. So, would I want my children to do it? I hope not, because I feel like, especially with the topic that we're having today, I feel like we've done enough, uh, especially us three, in making sure our children have plenty of options. Um,
all right,
they don't have to join the military because they don't have a way. Um, I'm with you, Mark, as far as like making sure our kids know that you don't have to leave the house at 18 to, get your feet up under you. If you need more time, then take the time. As long as you're,
right.
as long as you're actively, trying to make something of yourself, then take the time you need.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's an issue that Black people, Black families, we tend to have, because you want your kids to learn and grow up fast, but then when they don't land on their feet, when they get out of your home, then you're looking at them like they failed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
true.
yeah.
And that can like affect a child's mental health, right? How we see
Hmm.
ourselves, even as adults, we're still children to our parents. And so, kind of looking in the mirror and feeling like you were kind of thrown out, not, what I'm saying, not physically thrown out, but you were like basically placed in the world with minimal
Yeah.
resource and probably minimal direction, and then trying to figure this thing out on your own at such a very young age. I personally believe like anything younger than 26 is just like extremely young to me
Yeah,
to be
it
navigating
is.
in such a wide
Yeah,
world. especially
Eh,
without resources or minimum resources, and especially with a minimum of skill. As we know, the public education system just doesn't really
right.
prepare young people, you know, for real life.
And then
So,
you also gotta, I don't mean to cut you off, but then you also got to think about
no,
this.
go ahead.
If you're either one living in a single parent home or two living in a full-fledged family home, but both parents have a full-time job, where are you going to get the education that
Right.
you're not getting from school, i.e., how to learn about credit, how to how to do basic economics because they don't treat or not basic economics, but home economics because they don't
Yeah.
teach those things in school no more. Like we were lucky, we got those courses right before they ended them. So the basic stuff I'm learning with soldiers that they don't even know how to do because
Right.
they didn't get that learning from either school or home. So we're
Right.
Right.
technically their parents again.
Yeah.
That's a great point to bring in. So that ties into what my next question is about mental health um, being sometimes a curse, right? Um,
Hmm.
have you all have I know you all have a range of children. Chris, you have your youngest, and then you have your other two children, and then Mark, you have your oldest is just like getting a nose piercing, and then your youngest baby's like running around, right? So there's a wide variety of age and gender between both of you. Um, have you do you feel like you've broken like a mental health curse? Do you feel like there was one on your family, and if there was, has it been broken through you and through your children? Like, do you feel like your children are mentally in a better place because of your ability to acknowledge that this whatever thing has gone on for so long and it had to stop here? Can you see
Um,
a difference in how you behave mentally or emotionally as a child and how your children are behaving emotionally? Can you see a difference?
I would say like, well, the first thing is like what I noticed in my family is that a lot of like, especially black men, they then seek out the resources to get help for their mental health. I I think it was a pride thing personally. I
Yeah.
never like sat down and had like a talk with them about why they acted like that or why they felt like they didn't, they couldn't open up, you know. And when you experience that, you kind of like do that yourself, like unconsciously sometimes,
Hmm.
because it's all you know. Like I tell my daughter all the time, like you can talk to me. I tell my son, like you can talk to me. If something's like bothering you,
Yeah,
I'd rather you talk to me than take your own life.
right,
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm gonna tell y'all a story real quick about my daughter. She was big. She was being bullied
mm,
during the school year,
Wow.
mm,
and the first time her mom went up there, and she's the well, she's calm and collective to them, but she acted fool on me. But anyways, like, but she went up there, all calm and stuff, and she told me about it. I'm like, if this happens again, I'm gonna go myself. So it happened, and they was talking about her hair or something because she go to mostly white school again.
mm.
So
Yeah.
you can only imagine. So it happened, and they fucked around and called me instead of my wife first. Big
Hey.
mistake on their part because I went up there
When I
and
get
I didn't
that,
hold anything back because I was like, this is the second fucking time by the same group of girls.
mhm.
Y'all can handle it, or I'm gonna come up here and handle it. And I'm like, if you don't, you can tell their parents I said this. I don't care because I was like giving out free smoke to anybody. I was like, I want all the smoke, no second hand, all the smoke. So like, I was coming with everything, and like when that happened, they like, I don't know if they got scared. Oh, they did get scared. Let me just say that because after that, they didn't call me no more. Like, if one of my kids got in trouble, nobody called me. They used to call Kareem
Yeah.
because like I don't play that shit or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But back to what you were saying, Nicole, like that for me, that's what I seen a lot growing up,
Mhm.
and I'm like that too. Like I don't do it on purpose. I'm getting better, but I've been in some dark places like in my life, like for real, and I really didn't want to talk to nobody because for me, I saw that as like a sign of weakness.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like I don't want nobody to see that side of me, Like it's not good. And I tell my kids that all the time. Like, if you need to talk, come talk to me. If you need to see a professional, we'll take you to see a professional or whatever. Like, I'm not gonna tell my kids to just hide their problems away from me. I would rather them come tell me than take their own life.
Yeah,
So
That's
yeah.
wonderful. Children do need. How about you,
So,
Chris? How do
so
you see, like yourself now mentally, and how do you see in contrast to your sons and how are they more emotionally, like are they verbally more expressive and their emotions or ability to cry around you or just be, have any other feelings besides happiness versus how you when you grew up?
so dealing with my situations and how everyone in my life is surrounding me. Um, First, I had to me growing up. There was a lot of stop crying or you
Mm.
know just trying to keep everything inside. But then it took a life changing incident to happen, and for me to legit have PTSD, to go get counseling, for me to understand that it's okay to still be a man and still tell people, when you're hurting or when you're not feeling good or, when you need to get something off your chest. So,
Right.
as it correlates to my kids, with Landon, listen, he's his own man right now. So, you know, of course, we let him express his feelings as long as it don't go overboard. Um, you know, you just gotta give your kids that time to express themselves because you got to think we're 3 generations away from Black people not being able to express themselves freely without
Right.
recourse. So it's just finally giving our kids the ability to express themselves and not have to hide their head or not have to hold it in, and they're holding on to whatever anguish they got, and then it explodes at a later moment. So as a
Do either
parent, it what's that?
sorry, do either of your children like express themselves in a way that's not verbal, but still like it's like my daughter, she writes in her journal. So like, do your children do anything like unique or anything different to kind of to have a conversation with you, even if they can't verbally express it to you? Like, do they
Oh
write
yeah.
songs or are they like,
So Landon is
yeah?
an avid
like,
drawer. Like he
Oh,
draws already, and he's 6. Like he every time he's watching a movie, like now his thing is Godzilla versus King Kong. So he'll either act out what he sees on TV or he'll draw it out to the best of his ability. So um, I like that better than him being angry and then stomping away or going upstairs putting holes in the walls or something crazy like that.
yeah. Like for my with my oldest, what our thing is we like to watch anime together
nice.
or whatever. So
Yeah.
she'll send me like a meme, an anime meme or whatever,
Mhm.
to kind of like give me a hint that something's going on or she
Right.
need to talk to me about something.
Oh,
But because
sweet.
yeah, like cause sometimes like she's like, Dad, I don't want to talk to mom because she won't understand. So I won't talk to you about this or whatever. So that's how she does it
Yeah.
That's
with me.
awesome.
Yeah, and my son like he like to like I ain't gonna say that he really does anything, but
Mhm.
like when he wants my attention, he'll come in and tell me like some weird facts that I didn't even know. Like
That's great. That's cool.
like he be on YouTube and like you think he'll watching like he does watch those videos that all the other kids watch, but
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
he watching something like about animals, like learning about like amphibians or whatever. Like we have a bearded dragon and he can tell you like all the facts about that thing. Like I don't know nothing. I'm like, hey Trey, kind of lizard's name is Dean. I'm like, how old is Dean? I'm like, we had him 3 years, so he got to be 3. He's like, well, in lizard years or bearded dragon years, he's 15. I'm like, how you know
Oh
that? He
wow.
like, because on YouTube it said this or whatever. I'm like, God damn, like stuff, stuff like that. I just
Yeah,
find it like mind blowing because I'm like, I ain't know that shit. Like maybe I need to
yeah,
come see you about stuff, like shit
right.
that I don't even know.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
Yeah, definitely.
awesome. Okay. So speaking of like these newfound traditions or new ways to express ourselves, do you have, as your family unit as a whole, separate, because you both are married and you have children, so do your families have like a new um event, like a family thing that happens annually? So I know sometimes people take like annual trips or like that, or there's like a special place they go every year. They go to a specific cabin or something. Do you do any new tradition differently than the family that you came from? Do you have a new tradition that's kind of like you're not doing this old tradition or family reunion anymore? You're gonna do it this way. Do you guys have any of those?
Well, oh,
For me, go
go
ahead, bro.
ahead, Mark.
Oh, well,
So
I'll say like for me around like,
go ahead, bro.
we keep cutting each other off, bro. My bad, man.
Go ahead,
I
man.
think it's like a lag too. Like when I
Yeah.
talk and then I don't hear nothing, I'm like, is he let me go, whatever. But mine's is pretty quick. I'm just say like around like Christmas time, like we all like the on Christmas Eve we do the stockings and stuff together.
Nice.
That's pretty much
And did
all
you
we
do
do.
that with your immediate family that you came from, or is that something that
No,
okay?
I didn't do that. I wanted to do like a yearly trip with like my family, y'all's family and stuff. But being in
Yeah.
the military now, it's kind of hard. Like with
Yeah.
especially me moving to California in November and
Yeah,
shit. Like it's hard deployments to you wise. It's kind of hard to plan those things. So
yeah.
in
Well,
like 2025, we need to do something. For real.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
definitely.
How about this new tradition that our family didn't used to do, or
So we just started it this past year, and I'm not gonna lie, that was probably the most fun I've had in a long time. But just going to different homes for the holidays, like it felt good
yeah,
to have people here in our home, and every time you see it on TV, you be like, man, I wish that we could do that. And then we finally did it, just to take the family picture on the front lawn. And, we're going to do it again, later on in this year. Just, it feels good to be able to, communicate and bond with your families, like the entire families. And it's not just my family, it's my wife's family. Um, it like it's an unspeakable bond that was created just off of just different people being together in a home celebrating, Indigenous People Day. Like it felt good.
it
Right.
was incredible, and the food was amazing. The alcohol, incredible. Trampolines, we had I love it. Can't wait. It's gonna be awesome, incredible.
Definitely,
All right, well,
definitely.
let's bring some elephants into the room because it's that time of the hour.
All
One
right.
really big generational curse that, more specifically, people in the Black community seem to experience more than others, obviously for historical reasons, is finances.
Yeah.
Mm,
Ah,
Yeah.
tell
mm.
us, in what way are you breaking financial generational curses right now with you and your current and your immediate family right now? Tell us a way that you are breaking a curse with your family, a financial generational curse.
Mm. You go, Chris.
Okay, so for us, um finances, like my wife is like the go-to for anything finances. Like she got her head on straight when it comes to finances. So one thing
I
that
know
we
that's
do
right, Shakila. I'm sorry.
so one thing that we
That's
do
awesome.
is we do a yearly challenge. So the first time we did it, I think we started off with I think $1,000 or $5,000. So um, this time she's doing the $5,000 challenge, and I'm attempting to do the $13,000 challenge. Now I say
All
attempting
right.
I say attempting because, sometimes I catch myself trying to
You better
dip
get it
into them
done. You are
funds.
doing
Yeah,
positivity,
yeah,
affirmation. You are going to reach your $13,000 mark.
definitely, definitely, but definitely saving because even though I didn't know our parents, financial situation growing up, um,
Hmm.
I wanted to be that father that um, say if one of my kids want to play sports, it wouldn't be something hindering them from playing, i.e. having the money to actually sign them up or having the equipment, um you know things like that, like going to school, having money for clothes to go to school. Like it was, I could tell it was kind of tight on our parents growing up. We didn't have the name brand clothes that everybody else had. So I want to make sure for my kids, um I'm not gonna say I'm spoiling them, but I want to make sure that the necessities is not without.
Yeah, I dig that. For me, it's pretty damn simple. Don't loan people money.
Hey man, hey
That's
You
a
man.
know,
great curse to break. That's a
you know,
wonderful curse
don't
to break.
because when I first, joined the military, and y'all both can attest to this, people think you had money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
People just assume like, oh, you in the
Oh, you
military,
right now.
you got this, you
right,
got that. Like
Yeah.
right.
I I got real comfortable. Well, I'm real comfortable telling people no.
Yeah,
I'm like, look, I got kids. If I
yeah,
loan you something, know that well you probably ain't gonna pay me back. Like then what? I'm taking food out of their mouths.
yep.
Like if it's like a dire situation, like somebody I never lend money to, like God forbid one of you guys, I know y'all will pay me back.
Hmm.
I would loan it then, but just like, hey, let me get like $20. I don't care if it's $20, $10, no, because then you got in your mind like, oh, I can always call you to ask you for money.
Yep,
you know.
yep,
So I've been pretty damn comfortable telling people no, and
yeah.
I'm okay with
And
that. Like some people like, oh, you stingy, you're an asshole. So be it. I'm gonna be an asshole with my $20 in my pocket, ain't gonna be in yours.
right,
You
yeah.
know.
And the thing that I don't
Now
mean to
with
cut you off, bro. Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
with the financial aspect of the generational curses, and we speak about the children and them not being able to get right, they're not learning commerce in school, they're not learning too much of
Yep,
economics.
Mhm.
yep.
Do, at what age do you all feel it's appropriate to begin to teach your children about money and like how like to be responsible of their resources and their financial management so that when the time does come when they turn 28 or whatever that they are fully endowed to be able to make the moves that they want to make.
I
As
feel.
soon as they start asking for money, you should be able to tell them.
Okay.
I to
I
me,
like
I
that. That's actually
feel.
a really good rule. If you're curious enough, you can learn. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to me, truthfully, I think the age of 13. Why? Because that is the first year that you are an actual teen. Uh, yeah, that's your technically your adolescence. So you should be at the
I want
at
to
the stage.
apologize for the sound. My children are downstairs playing and ringing the doorbell. So just
Oh, I don't hear
That's
nothing.
that's
You
why,
good?
yeah,
okay,
me
cool.
neither.
I don't hear nothing.
But yeah, I say 13. Like my oldest, he just turned 12. This is his last year of, you know, real life innocence. Like you're about to become a teenager. There's gonna be expectations of you in the world without you even understanding that. So 13, you need to be focusing on, getting your learning how to drive, freaking learning how
Hmm.
to count money. They don't do it now anymore, but learning how to, you know, check your balance on in your with your bank. Like these
Yeah.
are things that you need to
Hmm.
learn now at 13. So when 16 comes and you get your learner's license, you're good to go. When 18 comes and you're able to get credit, you already know and understand credit, not 17
Yeah.
and then you turn 18 and now you're sitting here ruining your credit that you barely just got.
Right.
Are you
So
Hmm.
guys buying the first car? Are you guys buying the first car?
I am.
If I'm in a position to, I am. I say
Yeah,
I am
I am.
because I like, especially with my daughter. I know she gonna probably want to go off to college and stuff.
Yeah.
So I figure like, cause it's, the limit lot is located on a lot of bases. So you go to limit
Yeah,
lot, find a cheap car for somebody who's PCSing, retiring, etc. or whatever, and get them like a car drive around. I mean, I
yep.
don't think that's a problem. I mean, 'cause
No.
when I was growing up, kids like people always bought their kids car. I was jealous sometimes too. I got my Acura.
Hey, look,
We're
when
gonna not talk about accurate on this
Oh,
episode.
I'm
hey,
just saying
We'll talk
though.
about the next time.
I'm just saying though.
I'm still
listen,
away. I
when
wasn't allowed to be in the Acura boys little car group because I don't have one. But it's fine.
but no, like with Kimani, because he's gonna be the first one to turn 16. So, but I think
He
this is
good.
an important piece. Um, Kids nowadays, because I talk to these soldiers, they're more worried about the the extras in the car. They're not worried about
Yeah.
Right.
four wheels, something that'll get you from point A to point B, and hurrying up and getting it paid off so you can boost your credit. They're worried about, does it got the moon roof? Does it got
But
the or the big old screen in the dash and stuff
Hmm.
like that? So I think with me buying my son's first car, it's not gonna be a looker. It's gonna be a dependable car that's getting you from point A to point B, and hurry up and getting it paid off and going about your life. Um, I think if we help set our kids up for success, then they won't have to worry about trying to figure out what's next. They're gonna hit the ground running.
Yeah, definitely.
So
okay. Well, I'm going to bring another elephant in the room. And we're gonna talk about sexuality
okay,
Mm.
in the Black community and in most communities, right? We
all
understand
right.
that uh, gayness or bisexuality, in that arena, people's sexuality has always been their own, and
Hmm.
and we know that there's a history of people hiding their sexualities because society has not accepted them for
Hmm.
being who they sexually identify as.
Hmm.
Your children are much young, right, to probably establish. I don't want to say that because I don't. I mean, y'all can offend people. I don't want to offend anyone because I'm the moderator. So,
Right, right.
so as your host, I'm asking you, in this new generation, right? Are you open to your children being something what they sexually identify as, even if it is not something that in your generation or in your previous generations has been acceptable? Are you open to them exercising their sexuality,
Wow.
even if it's not traditionally what has been accepted?
Yeah. Wow is the correct response.
So
I
you
got
can
the
definitely
elephant. I
you
brought her
definitely
here.
go first, bro.
Hey,
Definitely go first.
Well, I
oh
gotta go.
yes,
Why,
it's
why I
time
gotta?
for some
Why I gotta go
honesty,
first?
right? Remember,
Yeah,
that's
why I
what
gotta
we
go
Cause
want to
first?
hear. They want to hear
Oh
honesty.
man.
Yes.
I would say this. I'm gonna love my kids regardless of what they think that they are or identify as.
Okay.
My only problem with like homosexuality is that somebody comes out as gay and like, hey, I'm gay, and people like, oh man, like congratulations, like you're so brave, this, that, and the third. It's like I come out like I'm straight. Would I get the same applause?
Okay.
not
Like
at all.
Let
I
me
don't.
bounce it back to you,
Okay.
right? In a racial climate, we understand that white people have been predominantly the quote unquote predominant race or whatever as far as exposure and acceptance representation is concerned, right? So
Hmm.
then when a black person comes out to do something that is when they come out to announce themselves as being whoever they are, we
Hmm.
tend to clap and say, "Oh, we're so glad that you're the first black swimmer," or "We're so glad that you're a black boxer or a black whatever, because for so long the standard and the status quo has been a white person being this thing. Do you
Hmm.
feel like it holds the same merit? Can you see how it could kind of be like the same argument that if heterosexual couples and people who identify as heterosexual, if that has always been the standard and the norm, then when someone comes out and says that I'm homosexual, it would be like, oh wow, like that's cool. Like we're glad that you're able to be yourself outwardly and wholly without feeling the ramifications of doing that. Because the same ramifications for being homosexual are also the same ramifications that we understand to be for being just simply black, for just being black. And there are people who are both black homosexuals. So how do you feel like that's kind of like the same argument, or do you think those are two different things?
Um, I think it's the same in my opinion. Like because like a black person especially, they already got heat on them, and then they come out and they identify as being gay or whatever. That's like double the heat. So I definitely can see as why it can, be considered as the same because, like, I mean, I applaud them for it, like,
But
because,
so when you say that what I guess your issue with people being homosexuals when they come out and you feel like they receive special treatment for saying that. Can you understand the treatment as it kind of aligns to? It's kind of like the same thing as being black. It kind of Do you think that it holds the same weight? Like almost is what I'm saying. Like, can you understand why people would be like, oh, I'm so glad that you're choosing to be yourself, because when black people come out and announce themselves as being that thing, but they're black and doing that thing, it can feel like a brave step to do. It can feel like something being brave to come out and say.
I
Do you
think
think it's the same thing, or do you
I
think it's different?
so this is here's my analogy towards that. There was a football player. I'll take football for instance. There was a football player back. Uh, I think it was in the early 2010s. I forgot his name. His last name was Sam. Uh, he was black.
Michael Sam's.
Michael
Michael
Sam.
Sam's, I
There
want
it
to say.
is.
Yeah.
He came out after, I think it was either after or before he was drafted, and basically saying, "Hey, I'm gay. I'm openly gay." And he got
Hmm.
a little praise for being the first quote unquote openly gay football player in the NFL. Flash forward to 2021, and there's a football player, I think he's in Oakland. He's a white dude. And next thing you know, the NFL is putting out a whole campaign ad talking about football is gay. So I don't know if they're just, caught up in the moment of Pride Month and all that stuff, and with the football player coming out. But oh, it wasn't me. Uh, but um, it feels like if it had anything, I'm pretty sure they're gonna say it had nothing to do with race. But it was like, okay, so now we got this white guy coming out that he's gay. He's technically not the first openly gay football player, but he's
Hmm.
just the first active football player that's coming out saying that he's, homosexual. So let's capitalize on the Pride Month, and let's do something just to put out there that the NFL accepts gay people all of a sudden.
Right.
So
Okay.
yeah,
So say right now one of your children came to you and they said, hey, I'm gay, dad. What's your response?
that's tough.
I
But
mean, mm,
I'm gonna say it's tough because um, once again, we were brought up in a different age.
Right.
So you can't,
Yep.
like I said before in previous, episodes, you can't fault me for not um accepting what you accept, right? So however you choose, I'm not gonna knock you for it, but I don't have to accept it either. Um, and it's the same for everybody. You don't have to accept anything that I do. but please don't knock me for it either. You're gonna go on about your business. I'm gonna go on about my business. But as far as if my kid comes to me, that's gonna be a difficult conversation to have simply because of the way that we were brought up.
Why do you think why is homosexuality for you not so much a curse, or why is the coming out of an acceptance of homosexuality, why is that not as important of a curse to break than your finances or discipline or behavior or emotions? Why is that one not on
Because
the
I
same?
feel that black people, um, with everything that we feel like we have to overcome, um, something that's not so you know acceptable in the world, it's almost like to other people it's like a double negative. You're black and you're gay. Like,
Mhm.
so a lot of black people, they don't really feel like they have to, they're already fighting enough battles. So to fight the battle with being black and gay, like that's two communities you have to basically hold on your shoulders and carry that out in the world and fight every day about.
But so are the others. So are like would it
Excuse
be
me.
fair to say that so are the others? That like finances, like a lot of people don't like poor people. Being
Mhm.
very honest, our society does not have a heart for poor people. But black people, as a whole, culturally, we're not the poorest. We just have really bad financial management, right? We don't exercise financial power and management the correct way.
Right,
So why again? So why is that? It would you're saying you don't feel like it holds the same weight. Like
right.
homosexuality is not the same thing as finances, a curse like a finance or something like that.
Yeah.
No?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not. It's to me that's minor compared to like finances and stuff.
Okay. Well, I'm going to bring another elephant into the room.
All right.
This time we're going to talk about real estate. We're going to talk about housing because I feel like this is like a really great topic as far as generational curses and wealth. Now, earlier you all kind of hit it on the head. We talked about not um, wanting your children to leave your home so soon, like you all did, like we all did when we were younger.
Hmm.
Yeah.
We know that culturally, almost every other culture believes in a three-generation living situation where there are at least three generations living under one roof at a time, and the
Hmm.
benefits of that being able to save money. You have extra help, extra hands in the home.
Hmm.
Also, it's just the closeness, the familyness, like not feeling like so much alone, right?
Hmm.
Um, why do you think that we don't have a three-generation housing or living culture in the Black community?
Bro, you want to go first?
Mm. Well, yeah, I'll go first. I don't
All
mind.
right.
I think that had, I think that's like a pretty easy answer for me because if you look at the white community and you look at the black community, like the white community is a lot like close, like knitted or whatever.
Mhm.
They tend to get along better than black people do with their own families.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think that they can
Yeah.
tolerate each other more, so therefore they can do things like that.
Okay.
Like a lot of people, black people, you know, in particular, they can't get along with their families. And I'm not saying nothing's wrong with that, but like white people, they are, you know, they can do that better than black people. I'm trying to be careful with my words here, but
I understand. So like there
but
might be a huge communication barrier in the
right,
Black community that prevents three generations from being able to live under the same roof on a continuous rate,
I
on a
think
right,
I was
continuous.
yeah, exactly.
gonna go with that, what you just said, Nicole, simply because you also got to understand that we're trying to break one of the most devastating curses that our community is dealing with, and that's a dual parent home. If you have a dual parent
Right.
home, then you welcome in the family, you welcome in grandparents, you welcome in
Hmm.
aunties, uncles, cousins. You do that, it's harder when it's just, a single mom with a boatload of kids, and she's bringing in the grandma or the granddad to help,
Hmm.
because at some point somebody has to make money. So I think the white community or the other communities really don't have that issue, especially like Asian communities. They
Yeah.
are like the greatest when it comes to three generations living in a home. Why? Because they still have that community niche. You know what I mean? Like they
Hmm.
feed, or not feed, but they thrive off of having the grandparents in the home, just to make sure that the grandchild is good to go. Like their grandchild needs for wants for nothing. So I
Mhm.
think as a community, not just a generation, but as a community, we have to get better at, one, making sure that there's a both parents in the home, and also
Hmm.
welcoming the grandparent into the home. Like my mother-in-law, I love her to death. Love her to death. It took time for us to get to this point, but Gigi, she come to the house anytime she want. The same
Right.
with dad. Like you could tell when we were here for Thanksgiving, like there was no awkward vibes. There was no standoffishness or nothing like that. We was in there playing spades, cracking jokes, having fun, throwing back drinks, and it was a vibe. Like stuff like
Right.
that is what Black communities need. Stuff like that is what this generation needs. And it's something that the younger generation needs to see.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been, in my opinion, a really great episode. We've
Yeah.
had a chance to talk about generational curses, in regards to finance, in regards to emotions, behaviors. We've talked about even sexuality in
Hmm.
a three generational household. Chris, do you have any comments that you would like to read out? Any questions from your comment section before we take off?
So, only comment I got, which was a slick one, got had to Keela said hey to everybody. If everybody don't know,
Hi.
she's in the Chuck right now with her family,
What's going
spending
on?
time. So, but yeah, hey, for the viewers, if you guys have questions or comments that you want to get off, just hit us up on the live, and we will do our best to answer them.
Definitely. All right. Well, Mark and Chris, the storm is coming. So I have to take off, and I'm sure
Oh
you all have to
wow.
take off too. Families, it's been a great week here at Elephant in the Room podcast. Please check us out on socials on Instagram and Twitter at Elephant in the Room podcast. And we will see you all next week.
Man,
Bye.
y'all
All
be
right.
safe
All
out
right,
there.
y'all.
All right.
Yes,
Bye.
sir.